minute since we've done a good old-fashioned audition advice video, so that's what we're getting into today. I've been lucky enough to work with some of the top casting directors in TV and streaming. I've been behind the table for musicals and commercials, so casting is something that I'm very passionate about, especially when it comes to auditions. They used to scare me so much. I mean, they still freak me out to this day, like just being able to turn it on like that. Auditions are intimidating, so I love sharing any piece of advice that can help make this process a little more painless. So let's talk about 10 things casting directors are looking for and how to make a great first impression via self-tapes. Also, if this is your first time seeing my face, hi, my name is Kat. I really like musicals. If you really like musicals, hit subscribe to join the musical theater internet cult. Do not worry, we are not a real cult. Thanks to Backstage for sponsoring this video. We'll hear more from them in a second, but first I want to hear from you. Question of the day: what is the best piece of audition advice you've ever received? Share your favorite piece of advice in the comments down below. One of my favorite tips is finding auditions super easily and quickly with today's sponsor. Thank you to Backstage for sponsoring today's video. Backstage is the easiest way to find your next audition. You can submit self-tapes, find in-person local auditions, and you can find casting calls for all types of projects, not just theater. And Backstage is for everyone, from student filmmakers all the way to major brands like Disney, HBO, Amazon, and Netflix. Backstage makes finding the perfect audition so easy. You can filter through casting calls by things like age, gender, location. That way you can quickly find projects that fit you. I love Backstage. I've used it both as an actor and to cast projects. It's straightforward, easy to use, and a great tool that I highly recommend for all creatives. So go check out Backstage. They even made an exclusive discount code for us. So you can get your first month of Backstage for only $5 when you sign up with code CAT5. Click the link down below or visit backstage.com and use code CAT5 when you sign up to get your first month of Backstage for only $5. Thank you to Backstage for sponsoring this segment, and thank you guys for checking out our sponsors. And now, back to the video. Okay, let's get into it. Here are 10 tips to keep in mind when you submit your self-tape to make a great first impression. Number 1, right off the bat, your headshot. Your headshot is the very first thing that anyone on the team is going to see. It is your very first impression. A lot of times, casting directors won't even go through every single submission. Sometimes they'll type people out, which means going through headshots and eliminating people that don't fit the role. So when it comes to headshots, you need a really good one. Not necessarily a fancy headshot or an expensive one or even a professional one, just a headshot that's good, clear, and accurately representative of you. Don't worry about trying to look perfect, just focus on looking like yourself. Make sure you're well lit with good, clear lighting so that they can actually see your face and what you look like. No filters, no selfies. You can still use your phone though, just don't use the front-facing camera, use the higher quality back camera. Back camera and a self-timer makes for a pretty great impromptu headshot. Number 2, you'd think that this is so basic and not something that we need a reminder of, but follow all the directions on the submission. I cannot impress this upon you enough. Follow all the directions to a T. They don't want to do extra steps. Not only does it create more work for them, but it's a bad first impression of you. It makes you seem irresponsible and not detail-oriented, so make their job easy for them and follow all the instructions. Number 3, be yourself, baby. Classic piece of advice, but truly being yourself is your ultimate superpower when it comes to any type of creative endeavor. Your uniqueness is what sets you apart from everyone else. That is what makes you irreplaceable. That's what makes you an individual and an artist, and why they should choose you out of all the other options. So lean into what makes you unique. Number 4, in that same vein, I think there's a lot of pressure that actors feel to look a certain way or to have a certain body type. There's an expectation that in order to become an actor, you also have to be hot. You don't. You don't. Again, you don't need to look perfect. You just need to look like the character. Don't be intimidated into getting rid of a part of yourself or replacing it with what you think you're supposed to have. Lean into your individuality. Also, a lot of character breakdowns are incredibly vague. Even from a casting director standpoint, you don't know exactly what you want going in. You look at a group of headshots and you have the breakdown and you're like, who looks like they're in their mid-30s and a kindergarten teacher? There might be like a dozen different answers and they all might look wildly different. Number 5, don't be scared. I know that is so much easier said than done, but now being on the other side of it, there's no reason to be. They're not waiting for you to fail, they're not gonna point and laugh. Everyone is on your side, everyone's rooting for you, it's gonna be okay. The analogy I always make for stressful situations is like, do you remember Devil's Snare in Harry Potter? Like, the more you fight it, the tighter it squeezes, so the only way to get through it is to relax and let go. That's kind of a big part of it, is relaxing and letting go, because so much of what you fear is truly out of your control. Definitely try to pinpoint what exactly is making you feel uncomfortable, and if it's something that you can adjust, do so. But if it's not, the best you can do is prepare and let go. Number 6, practical piece of advice, slow down. You'd be shocked at how many people accidentally rush through and we have no idea what their name is. The info they want during the slate might be different. They might ask for your height, your voice type, whatever. Pay attention to the instructions, but at a very minimum, clearly state your name and the material that you're going to be performing. If you're under the age of 18, I'd also recommend saying your age, and then after that, you don't really need to mention your age. Number 7, don't sweat the small stuff. So many of my childhood memories are me pacing around my bedroom, like obsessing about what hairstyle I should wear for the audition tomorrow, or what audition cut I should use, what dress I should wear. Should I wear red lipstick? Who else is gonna be there? What if I wear the same color dress as someone else? Do I bring backup dresses? How many backup dresses? And I can now safely tell you, down the line, none of it has ever mattered. It has never been the determining factor, one of those little minute decisions in whether or not someone gets the callback. In fact, those teeny tiny details aren't even something that the casting team is going to register. I promise it is not a big deal, and if it is, the team will let you know. They'll tell you to make an adjustment, so don't sweat the small stuff. That being said though, number 8, if you do have something distracting on your person or in the background and it's ultimately taking away from your performance, just toss it, because it's doing you a disservice. For instance, wearing big dangly statement earrings in a self-tape so that every time you move your head just an inch, you get like a reverberation. That drives casting directors crazy and is my personal pet peeve. Number 9, in that same vein, don't do yourself a disservice. Remember the basics. It always comes down back to basics, and it doesn't matter how phenomenal your audition is. If you're not covering your basics, there's a good chance that the casting team isn't even going to watch. For a self-tape, I'm saying good lighting so that we can clearly see your face. You're not shadowy or backlit. You have decent sound. We can understand what you're saying. We can hear what your voice sounds like if you're singing. If it's an in-person audition or over Zoom, don't rush in the room. Take your time and build a connection with them. Have fun. If it's musical theater, make sure that your cuts are clearly marked, like make it foolproof. If it's virtual or a self-tape, set up your accompaniment ahead of time so that it's ready to go, that all you have to do is hit play, and always make sure that you have at least one more song available and ready to go, just in case they ask to hear more. And number 10, here's a sneaky piece of advice that I had never really considered, but actually makes a huge difference to casting directors: reliability, conflicts, and transportation. The amount of times that a casting team has really liked someone and has wanted to either call them back or give them an offer, but only to find out that like they don't know if they'll be out of town, or they don't know if they have another commitment. If you have conflicts, totally okay, everyone does. Just make sure that you know them ahead of time so that you can communicate them. Reliable transportation is a huge one. They want to know that you're going to be able to show up on the day of. Of course, don't lie to them, but you don't necessarily need a license or a car. So as long as you have a way to get there reliably and on time, answer yes. Those are just a few of my top audition tips. I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on auditioning? Got any nuggets of wisdom or sage advice to share? Go ahead and drop it in the comments down below. Huge thank you to Backstage for sponsoring today's video. Go ahead and check them out. Click that link down below. If you're new here, hit subscribe. Join the musical theater internet cult. I hope you're having a great day. I love you so much. Break a leg, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!